2 years ago, I went to this conference and I was like this. I was like, I do energy work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't want to tell anybody. Like
you put it out there and you're like waiting for someone to be like, what?
I was waiting for the pitchforks to come at me.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and then 2 years later, I go to the same conference, meeting up with the same people that I had met years prior. And I was like, I'm an energy practitioner and this work that I'm doing now. And here's how I've seen clients grow. Very different energy, very different conversation. And I find myself, I never sell myself, even though you're always kind of technically selling yourself, I guess. But now I just talk about the work and the work itself, because it's literally what works. And it's what works for who's right to work with me.
Welcome to the Coachability Code podcast. This is your host, Jordan Ring. Coaches, you ready to be coached? Let's go. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me on today's podcast. I have Candice with me. I'm super excited to dig into stuff with her. But Candice, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan, for allowing me to come and share the space with you. A little bit about me, and for those that are listening, is I'm a holistic practitioner. I primarily work with clients who are really brand new to energy work as a practice, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are kind of struggling to see their business move forward. I love to approach energy work from a more grounded state of awareness, and that's a little bit about me, minus being a military spouse, empty nester, and just really big book nerd. So
awesome. Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about that already, but I want to we'll start with the fact that you're a book nerd. My first question is, what's your favorite book? And then beyond that, favorite movie, and then a weird thing about yourself that you don't mind sharing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so favorite book, it really depends on what the book is.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like asking me my favorite song or favorite place to live. But I would say the first book that I read that was really about personal development and brain awareness was The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I really had never considered habits and the habit cycle and that patterning. And so it was really kind of interesting that was my gateway, almost like the gateway drug into all personal development. And I just became obsessed with like how we operate, how we function best, and how to really understand just our brain in general. Favorite movie? Okay, so I always thought I would be Sonora Webster, and if Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, you will understand why, because obviously she got to work with horses and she was a horse diver. So I just loved this story and how she became blind and really triumphed anyway and just got up and did the things and learned how to be new within her body and like really connect in. I mean, that wasn't like the storyline, but that's what I'm taking out of it.
Yeah, that's amazing though. Yeah.
Yeah. And then weird thing about, okay, so when I was in school, because I'm like a really cool genius nerd, I learned how to write backwards.
Okay.
So I don't know why I decided that in class I wanted to write backwards, but I thought it would be really cool if I would write my notes to my friends where they'd have to read it in the mirror. So because I was paying attention in class, I was able to figure this out, writing backwards. But yeah, that would be the weird fact about me.
I said, I don't normally share a weird fact about me, but I'll share the fact that my penmanship is absolutely atrocious. And add to that I am a writer, right? And my typing speed is very slow. So those two things combined, normal people, you'd look at me and say, how are you a writer, Jordan? But I would say, you know what? It's more about what you're thinking in the brain and communicating ideas than being able to tap away quickly. So yeah, write backwards. Don't write at all. That's fine.
I don't even know where it came from. I was literally just sitting there one day, and I'm pretty sure it was the same time when those, if you're old enough to remember when like magic pens came out and you're like the invisible ink stuff. So it was like,
I remember that.
So yeah. So anyways, but yeah.
Well, awesome. So Candice, someone comes up to you and says, hey, Candice, what do you do? How do you answer that question?
Well, it's really fun because I say this because I think it'll provide value for anyone out there, anybody that's new to their practice. You find the way in which you answer the questions that come forward. And for me in the beginning, I was really nervous to tell people that I do energy work. I had to really into embodying what I do. And so now I can confidently say that I'm an energy practitioner. I really help people understand their identity and come back into grounding back into the experience. And so I really try to focus on the method in which I do things. And it
Hmm.
seems really give people an awareness and an awakening to what it is that I do without making them nervous or think that I'm over here doing voodoo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you normally work with people that are skeptical to begin with, or do they already have some kind of sense that they want to do the energy work? Like that's kind of my next question too. Like what are the primary reasons people come to you? And then the second part of that, how do you deal with the people that may be a bit skeptical, even if they are open and they say, Candice, what are we doing? What's this energy work thing?
Yeah, it was funny because they didn't realize that I kept working with brand new to energy work clients. And
Hmm.
January, and I was like, wow, like all the last few clients I've worked with all have been brand new to this practice. And I don't necessarily work with anybody I need to convince that they need to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But most of the time, clients are finding me when they're in the middle of transition. So they're really struggling with inner confidence and a lack of clarity, a lack of vision. And they really, at the core of it, they're really disconnected from themselves. So they're very much hyper independent people who are most likely an entrepreneur and or super high performing achiever who again like really want to live a better, more fulfilling life. It's not that they haven't achieved things, and they sometimes it really just comes back to they're struggling. They feel like they're breaking inside, but they can't even tell
Hmm.
anybody. And so that's who, like, where they're usually at when they come to me. And they're usually very curious. So they've either been connected with me, had a conversation with me, or kind of been stalking my page.
Yeah.
They understand that the way I work with spirituality is a lot different than what they're used to seeing. We're actually seeing a huge shift in this anyway in the spiritual practices world, I guess you could say. But we're starting to understand that we don't have to overcomplicate everything, and that
Hmm.
while like all the woo is amazing, don't get me wrong, like, but you're not going to see me advertising, oh, go sage your entire house, or I'm going to come in. Not that that doesn't benefit you. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah, but we really can simplify these practices to really understand what is energy, what is my energy, and how can I start aligning it? Like, what does that even mean? So, a lot of it is me helping them understand what the benefits are and then guiding them throughout their practice. Most clients don't work with me very like full time or anything. They're coming
Hmm.
in usually bi-weekly sessions for about 3 months, and then they start tapering off from there because but the goal isn't to keep them as a client forever. I want them to grow and expand and
Yeah.
develop their own practice. So hopefully that kind of answers what you're asking.
No, it definitely does. And I was thinking more about the people that come to you. What questions are they asking as they're initially starting to work with you? I'm always curious about that too. Like, because I think there's so much that goes across spectrums of like book coaching and then sales coaching or business coaching, and then what you're doing, you're helping people with energy work. That like the questions are different, but then they also end up being a lot of the same. So I'm just curious, what are some of the initial questions they ask for what you're going to be doing, or if they have objections, or yeah, what do they bring into the table?
Yeah, a lot of what they're asking is what can I expect, first of all?
Yeah.
And they're also asking really inquisitive questions about how energy works. And that's one of the things that I love teaching about. It's why I'm starting to finally put together workshops and stuff.
Hmm.
Because once we can guide people to understand the foundational elements of what energy within our body is, then they start to ask the questions, okay, how do I apply this in my everyday life? Like, I work with a lot of clinicians who are burnout or have been doing their practice and they're seeing all the shifts in all of the different industries like most are seeing, and they're like, how do I have good energy for my staff? How do I show up and support
Hmm.
others? And so those are kind of the questions that they're starting to ask is like, okay, how is this work going to benefit me? What is it? And then how can I apply this from here? Because I'm really
Hmm.
big on educating, like, yes, we're going to do some deeper coaching because I don't just do an energy session. we're really diving into seeing patterns and cycles and where's the originating factor, what's the root cause of why you're feeling this way or
Hmm.
seeing this. Because most of the time, clients will have the same cycles being presented in different areas of life, whether that's their relationship at home, relationship with their family, their relationship with their job, career, business, and even down to their kids. And so when we can kind of see, okay, why am I showing up in these different relationships? Even
Hmm.
money's another one. And it's like, why am I showing up in these different relationships the same way, but I'm not satisfied? And so we really start diving into what's this, what I call stagnant energy, what's really being held within the body, whether you're not expressing something, you're not able to see the vision. There's a lot of different symptoms that we come in to see,
Hmm.
but again, it's about that deeper discovery. And then we'll do the actual energy work portion, and then clients can then take it into their everyday life. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. It makes so much sense. And
Yeah.
I could see why so many people would benefit from that. So someone that has worked with you that you would say, oh, Jordan, this is my best client ever. What is it about them? And if there's a story there, tell us a little bit about that. Like what made them stand out to you or made them the person that you thought of first?
Oh my gosh. So I have so many great clients, and the ones that come to mind are the ones who are willing to show up and do the work, because energy work is usually
Hmm.
labeled very similarly to going to get a massage. And that's really not the truth of it. A lot of it's about the deeper discovery, the internal awareness that what
Hmm.
I've come to realize are a couple of things. People are really scared to look at themselves because they don't give themselves that space on a regular basis. And so, because if they look at themselves, they might not like who they are, and they don't necessarily want to really feel like they're not a great person. And again, it's not that you go through life experiences and whether or not you choose to process them will be presented in the body. And so, if we can help you alleviate that, then you won't feel like you're not a great person because you're not
Hmm.
holding so many things. But my clients come in and they're inquisitive. They want to learn. They want to do the work with me as a facilitator. It's really important that they don't become dependent on me. Like, I want them
Hmm.
to graduate into how am I doing this for myself and then just checking in with Candice, because that's where the power lies. Is we all have this within us to do. I'm here as a guide to help you remember and understand
Hmm.
that. So those clients, again, like all of my clients, really, they have a passion for their life. Even if they feel disconnected, the internal knowing is there. And so that's what they're trying to get back to. But
Hmm.
yeah, they're consistent. Like, it's one thing to do a session, it's another thing to be consistent and see results. It's kind of like I always say going to the gym because it's such a good
Hmm.
analogy, but you can't go to the gym, lift one weight, walk 1 mile, and see a result forever. It's that consistency and practice that allows our body to change and to become what we consider healthy. Same thing with our energy. It's a practice that we show up for, it's something that we evolve with. And our needs change over time because we grow and we expand and we become new. And so, yeah, my favorite clients are the ones. I'll give you an example. When how it worked out is I had reached out to a person that was in this mastermind with me.
Hmm.
And what's funny is we had met on day one of the mastermind in person, and she had even taken a photo of me. But for some reason, we never like connected after that. It wasn't until
Hmm.
2 months later that we reconnected. And I was like, hey, I'm really inquisitive about the work you're doing. She has a podcast and all the things. And I was like, let's have a conversation. And so we did. And sure enough, she came back and she's like, I need to work with you. I don't know why, but I know that I feel
Hmm.
like missing element. And that's kind of like the highlight. Like, I want clients that are super ready, that know when they know and take action too. And so we started working together, and we were working on a lot of things to do with confidence. Even though she's very confident in what she does,
Hmm.
it goes back to really embodying the value that you bring. So she's been starting to have results in different areas of her life, whether that is her relationship with her adult kids or her relationship with her husband, even the relationship within her office space. So we've been able to clear out clutter and help her really reconnect with again, the value that she brings, so much so that she is not only starting to work with more clients because she's a physician that is now a
Mm-hmm.
coach for other physicians. And so not only is she increasing her client base, she just landed a big contract because they came in with zero budget, literally zero. And she walked away with almost 10K because she knew
Wow.
the value that she brought. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, nope, I know that I can do this for you. Here's where I'm willing to meet you at. And they negotiated back and forth. And that's just the power of trusting your intuition, because she could have taken that as a sign of like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. But she trusted in her gut instincts and herself to know what to say, what to do, and that she could bring them true value. And that's kind of the results that you start to see when you really know yourself and you're grounded in yourself, because then you can ground in that communication. People can feel it. Like they're like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I want to work with you, or yes, I need this in my life, whatever it is. Because I tend to work with a lot of, I would say again, people that help other people, whether that be a
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
I do tend to work with a lot of medical professionals, actually. So like therapists and doctors, and then a lot of coaches, but those are the people that I enjoy the most because they just get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know it doesn't have to be hard forever, but there is a level of surrender that they have to dive into, and the surrender is into themselves. It's not surrendering to me. It's not surrendering to anything outside of themselves. It's really literally coming back to know themselves.
Yeah. I was just thinking about, because that I love that. And I love working with clients the same way, that are like, Jordan, I've had you in mind for a while. I want to work with you. Have you found your own energy work and the things that you're working on your own, like also helps that attraction? Because I was just thinking from like her perspective, yeah, she decided to work with you. So thinking about what was your part in that as the coach to kind of draw her to you. And yeah, it was a great formation. It was a great connection. What did you do that helped make that connection?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked this because my practice this year is vastly different from last year.
Okay.
So it was all of the inner work that I did that has given me the capacity to work with as many clients as I'm working with, first of all, but also have clarity and direction over who I wanted to work with. Last November, I was sitting with the universe and I was literally like, all right, I know you want me to do this work, but like it's got to be easier. And
Mm-hmm.
it was this because the year before, I wouldn't say it was a dry year. I mean, I'd worked with over 40 clients, but nothing consistent, not like what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing now. And it was like, I want fulfillment. Like, I know that consistency is what drives the change and all these things. And so I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, okay, I know this needs to be easier. And tell me if I'm not meant to do this. Like, if I'm meant to do
Yeah.
something else,
Yeah.
tell me so I can do that. And sure enough, it was like, well, first, I didn't have an offering available for people to work with me long term. I wasn't telling them, hey, do you want to work with me long term? So the song, it's me. Anyways, so I fixed those couple of things. And December was the first month that I had my first client sign up to work with me for 3 months. And then
Mm-hmm.
first week of January, I had 4 clients sign up with me to work with me for 3 months. And I was like, oh, this is happening.
Amazing.
But it was literally all the inner work I did the year before, because how my business has shifted, and this is something that when I'm working with entrepreneurs and I know why they're stuck, it's literally because they need growth. And it's because I wouldn't attract the clients who weren't right behind me, right? And so when we need that clarity, when we need to work through whatever it is that we're holding on to, the stories, the mindsets, the experiences, once we really peel that all off, and then we can be like, oh, I'm resisting having money coming in because I'm scared I won't be able to hold on to it. Or I'm
Mm-hmm.
resisting having more clients because I fear the success of what that looks like. Will I be able to give them quality service? Will they see transformation? There's so many reasons why our business doesn't grow. And it's because we have internal insecurities about ourselves, about the work we do, and the confidence to really, again, I go back to embody, because once you embody who you are, people can feel that. Like me 2 years ago, I went to this conference and I was like this. I was like, I do energy work.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Like, didn't want to tell anybody. Like, it
Like
was
you
just,
put it out there and you're like waiting for someone to be like, what?
yeah,
Like, yeah, to
yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh, I've been waiting for the pitchforks to come at me.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and then 2 years later, I go to the same conference, meeting up with the same people that I had met years prior. And I was like, I'm an energy practitioner, and
Hmm.
this works that I'm doing now. And here's how I've seen clients grow. Very different energy, very different conversation. And I find myself, I never sell myself, even though you're always kind of technically selling yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I just talk about the work, and the work
Yeah.
sells itself because it's literally what works. And it's what works for who's right to work with me. And I understand that. Like, I'm never trying to get every single person as a client anymore. And I was before. So I would say, to go back to your question, all of the internal work that I did, finding the clarity, who is it that I actually work with? Who do I enjoy working with?
Hmm.
And how do I really help them move forward? And what does it look like having the different starting points, and here we're going forward? And all of that has been why people come to me now, because I have clarity. Like, if
Hmm. Hmm.
you don't have clarity, how can you convey that in a way that people are drawn in to work with you? Because you're not secure in what you do. And we all start out nervous. Like, we all have to
Yeah,
have
of course.
clients. Like, my confidence grew with the more and more clients I was working with. So I will say that's another factor, is like, you start seeing those results, and it's like, wow, okay, like I'm doing the things. But again, it's a continual practice. I'm not just done. Like, I literally sit in meditation, and I channel into what I guide clients to do, is to connect in with the energy of their business.
Hmm.
Business has an energy, it has a purpose, it has a divine signature. And so, what is required is for our energy to be aligned first. So, our values, what we see for our vision, having all of this clarity. But then, when we tune into, what does my business need? What does it want? What is it wanting to do? And tuning in and calibrating all the time, because, like, a year ago, wasn't ready to do workshops. I didn't
Hmm.
want to do group anything. I was like, oh, that
Hmm.
never works. Now I'm in a place where people are asking, they're like, what, do you have a course that I can take or anything?
Hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I can do that. And it's because I have the same questions coming over and over. But again, if I were tuning into myself, or even the business, where is it wanting to grow, I wouldn't have maybe taken that next step. I would have let the old mindsets, because I've launched a course and it flopped. Okay, let's, like, was all done with things.
Yep, I've done that many times.
And if you do it, you probably do it again, right? Like,
Yep.
it just, but you learn from each experience when you choose to. And again, that recalibration often is what's required. I was writing about this and journaling about it, but I have 15 client sessions this week. Now, my brain
Wow.
wants an even number.
Yeah.
But, all setting aside, while yes, everybody came back from vacation at the same time, it's like, still like, wow, okay, that's 15 90-minute sessions. That's a lot. And that's the most I've ever had. But I remember when it was just one. And so, again, it's that humility, the remembering, and the building your capacity as you go. And I think for any of the coaches listening, you you gain clients as you're ready to hold space for them. Because if I had 15 clients in the beginning, I wouldn't have had my systems built, meaning my follow-up process. Like, I now have a very dialed in process that I walk people through from the moment they book to the moment the session ends. And I didn't have that before, and so I couldn't have had that many, you know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't have
So
been able to do it. Yeah.
exactly. And that's the thing, is like, recognizing there's a reason why we have this slower, I guess you could say, client buildup. And it's
Yeah.
okay. How it really makes it impactful, actually. So
I think it's being okay with that, with building that over time, right? Like, not feeling like you have to jump into clarity and conviction
yeah.
and complete confidence in what you do from the beginning. Of course, it helps if you can go to a networking event and be like, I'm Jordan, I'm a book ghostwriter, and this is what I do, and I love it. Okay, I've gained a lot more confidence in being able to talk about what I do, but it has not been an overnight process, just like you're describing too. Like, and it's like, we don't want it to be, nor do we need it to be, because if it was, and yeah, if I all of a sudden had 10 book coaching clients this month, I'd be like, ah. If it was like boom, all of a sudden. But if it's one of those things where it happens over time, you can develop systems and build toward that capacity. And I think it's important too, and you can speak to this, I'm sure, but it's important to sit in that and be okay with where you're at. Be okay with if you're a coach just starting out, no, you do not need to have 15 sessions booked in the next
Right.
week. It can be a slow process, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with even the interim, the times in between where maybe you're not having any clients for a few months or more. That is normal. It happens. And you can do work during that time. You can work on yourself. You can gain some more clarity and even more conviction in what you do. You can have a side project, all different things we could talk about there. But it's important to not, I think the takeaway, right, is to not put too much pressure on yourself and to also sit in that and almost even enjoy that time too,
Yeah.
if you have extra time.
I will say that I didn't really understand what people meant when they said enjoy the process
Yeah.
until recently, because I was just holding space for the gratitude and humility that I had to go through the previous year. So I went back to doing contract work and that gutted me. I literally thought I was a failure. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, if you don't make it as a business in year one, you suck and all this stuff. And it's not reality. We don't have to like quit our primary source of income to go chase our passion, which is what we
Mm-hmm.
hold. And while it's great, and if you can do that, go for it. But oftentimes, you like having that steady flow of income coming in actually alleviates the nervous system a little bit from being
Mm-hmm.
dysregulated. And so while it was really hard and felt like a gut punch going back, it helped me. It gave me
Mm-hmm.
I needed the time and space I needed to work on myself. And then it's like, again, it's all coming through now. And it's been that way all year. But again, if I had like struggled, and not, don't get me wrong, I got in my feelings. I've been there where I was like pity party, but it's like, but so that was my growth period. I enrolled in a couple of courses. I really continued to just meet other people and do other things because I had the time and space, like you said. If we can use these periods of rest for recalibration and actually allow ourselves to be okay with that and not
Mm-hmm.
feel like we can really see a lot more success because we're allowing that space to serve purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So, Candice, have you worked with people that have either been frustrating or have not come ready to work or didn't accept what you were trying to share with them? Like just thinking about, yeah, has there been anyone that you would say, okay, they weren't my best client, or yeah, and then what was done? What was the story there? What did you try to do? Is it just not going to work out? Or yeah, tell us a little bit about that, if there is one.
Yeah, so I don't run into that problem now, but in the beginning, absolutely. But that was
And
again,
that, and I'll say that's a very, not to interrupt you, but that's a very common thing. Other people have been sharing the same thing. Because like as
yeah.
you grow in your business, you deal with that less because you start to notice red flags. And again, an important note for anyone starting a coaching business or doing more coaching, you're going to have to go through it a little bit. You can read a book about red flags, but you're still going to have to go through your own and figure your own processes out. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Well, and even that is a process and evolution
Yeah.
because who you worked with year one is not necessarily who you're going to work with year five. And being okay with that, because how I see things is we're continuing to graduate our practice, right? So, like where we are, and who you might have same elements of the people that you work with, but
Yeah.
just continue to understand it's okay to grow and change like who you desire to work with because what also happens is your clients grow with you. And so it just begins to look different. And I will say in the beginning, oh my goodness. So in the beginning, I was just taking on anybody. Because
Yeah.
you want, and you think you know who you want to work with. Like I thought I wanted to work with trauma, and that was
Hmm.
my focus. And while a lot of my clients do have some form of trauma, either versions, and in their experience, it's not my primary focus, which is much different than what I was thinking I would do. And and it's always a delicate balance there anyway. But I had a couple of clients that came in and it was always the ones that I was discounting my services for.
Mm-hmm.
It was always that. And what I came to learn is that even with that, is that yes, there will be genuine clients that need a different budget point. I'm always willing to
Yeah.
work with people in that area. And it's a values alignment and financial alignment that you have to consider because there are people, like I said, that literally don't have the budget and that are ready. And then there's people who have the budget and don't think they do. So that's something
Yeah.
to really hold key into your practice, because I've learned that lesson a million times. I can't tell you how many times it's like you discount your service and then you go see their weekend on Instagram. Don't ever follow them, because it will never make you happy. No, I'm just kidding.
But same. I mean, I've learned the same lesson. It's especially when you're starting out, it's so difficult not to say, okay, but I really want to work with you. So here's this thing, like here, I'll take what I was hoping to make extra on this or whatever. It's so easy to do that because you want to work with especially for me, it's like, I want to work with the person. When I connect with someone on a call, oh, I really want to work with you on this. And I don't do this for tons of money. Obviously I have to make some money, but I personally don't like not being able to work with someone because of that. But then I've
Yeah.
also realized that if that is always your way, then it's going to be very difficult to get to the next tier of the people that you're going to have the most success with and be able to help the most too. So it is a fine balance there of, it's not just about charging more so that you can have more in the bank. There's a lot more to it. So we could do a whole podcast on that probably.
I know you really could, because that's the other part too, is like when you're beginning, this is the other mistake I see a lot of coaches make, is that they come out of the gate charging $1 million because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're saying have a high ticket offer. And I'm like, well, yeah, but get your experience first.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
be humble and understand that your prices will increase. I remember when I started out, I was charging like 45 a session or something like that. And it was because I wanted the practice.
Mm-hmm.
And felt like a huge jump when I went to 60, and then an even bigger one when I went to 75, and then I went to 100. And it's like now my clients pay me anywhere between 100 and 200 an hour. And so that's, again, like you will have that graduation because of your ability to hold space and capacity. And even this is something that is really valuable for coaches, and this is something I do, is I always have what I call a pay it forward session, where when I know that it's somebody who really wants to work with me and their budget is a constraint,
Mm-hmm.
they purchase that one that's at a much lower price. And that is my give to the world, because it's
Mm-hmm.
pay it forward. If I pay it forward and believe in this person, then they're going to do it in their life too. And so you can always do things like that. And again, like you figure when you're in tune with your energy, you get much better at discerning who really needs it. And I've absolutely worked with clients where I've worked out a deal with them because I'm like, no, I know you're ready. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and then that's the thing, is I'm always waiting for people to be ready. Like
Yeah.
that's because, especially with doing this kind of work, to go back to your earlier question, is the clients that I didn't enjoy working with were the ones who showed up for one session and then like ghosted, because it was because they weren't fully ready.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It
that
happens.
and that happens. And so that's why I'm even more discerning with people now, is I'm like, just want to make sure that you understand this because you can process through a lot. So, but those would, I would say, be the least favorite, or the ones that always run on their own schedule. Like not that we're not all a little bit like that, but yeah, if they're needing me to accommodate all the time, no, no, my
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. Exactly. So we kind of touched on this, I think, a little bit, but I do love to ask this question. So what areas have you been coached yourself? And then how has it helped you become a better coach?
Oh my gosh, so I've been coached in all the ways.
Okay.
And this is something too, when I double tap on going back to being prepared. So the reason why I really try to help people have more clarity is that I hired a business coach back in like 2017, 18,
Mm-hmm.
and I was nowhere near ready for a business coach.
Mm.
I didn't have enough clarity on what I wanted to do. And she should know
Yeah.
in like session one that I didn't know what I was doing, because I was trying to build offers and build things when I didn't even know what I was doing. So, because back then I was life coaching and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And yet I had zero clarity. So, keeping that in mind when you're working with clients, because not only will they not see results, like you will not feel satisfied in working with them because they don't see results if
Yeah.
they're truly ready and have clarity. So, side note there, but I've had a business coach. I'm working with a person who started as my mentor, right? And so it's really important to like check in with people who are willing to do that. But he is now a coach of mine that's helping me in the speaking world, because he's like high rated podcast and like does international speaking. And so I was like, I need your wisdom. Help me. And basically, he's telling me all the things I teach people: get to know yourself and have your
Yeah.
signature talks. And actually, it's really given me more clarity on all of the things that I want to talk about. And it helped me realize that I don't have to fit into what's the square peg round hole.
Yeah.
I don't have to fit into a certain dynamic to obtain different speaking opportunities. Because
Hmm.
that's my belief. I was like, oh, if I want to do corporate, I gotta like not talk about anything I do.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you bridge that gap? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one area. And then I work with a practitioner, an energy practitioner as well, that I check in with once a month. I do my own practice every day, but I still tune in and check in because we all need that support to be like, what are we missing? What are we not seeing? And you need somebody to soundboard off of anyway. You don't need to do everything by yourself just because you do the thing that you do. Like a business coach should probably have a business coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because.
I mean, it's the same
Let's
with
see what
with
else.
me as a writer. I mean, we have like I don't have to hire necessarily a book coach because that's what I do. But when I go through the process of writing a book, I'm getting coached on my writing with the editing process. Like it's such a part of the process of putting a book out there that I've learned so much by someone coming in and saying, Jordan, you need to rethink this, you need to move this structure around. Like there's so much that's questioned in that process that like
Yeah.
I learned so much. But I think that's a natural part of what I do. If it's not a natural part of your coaching business, maybe a health coach has had a health coach before, but I know the health coach I worked with, he talked a lot about Jordan. I have regular meetings with my health coach. Like it's such a normal thing. And I think if it's not normal in your industry, think about it because it's just you want to be continually learning and continually questioning, right? So
And I had a personal trainer when I worked. So my background is I worked in gyms, and I helped launch a yoga studio. So I've been in the health industry most of my career and
mhm.
sales and all of that. But even back then, it's like coaches are really good at helping you see things from different perspectives.
Yeah.
And a good coach will give you guidance and help you see it and help you make those connection points so that you keep it with you. It's not just like I'm going to tell you what you're going through. I'm going to help you see it so that you
Hmm.
take action on it. And so, yeah, I think I've had a coach just about for everything because it's all really helped me continue to build my confidence and clarity. I even had somebody do a branding session with me to even discover that I was working with all brand new clients because
Hmm.
like figuring out that I work with people who are brand new or have maybe had a session or two, and then I work with business owners over here. That alone gave me so much clarity because I'm not having to speak to everyone. And so, again, like finding the right people who align with who you are and how you do things is the other key component of finding a coach. But I am like a huge advocate for coaches because, like you said, we're always trying to grow. Yeah,
Hmm.
even hearing you say like how your coach helps you move things around, we're in our own stuff all the time. And we think we're being super clear or that it's like the structure and flow makes sense because it's
Yep.
what we're supposed to, but we're like, probably need to explain that before you go into this. So having that feedback is really important. And like I am a part of a couple of military organizations, military spouse
Hmm.
organizations, and one of the cohorts that they run, we're building pitch decks. So essentially what I do is I'll go in and I'll sit in on them and I'll help them understand where they need more clarity over what they're trying to present because again, we think we're super clear, but I'm not even clear. That's why I asked somebody, can you take a look at these
Hmm.
slides and make sure I have this? But yeah, so having guidance, nothing wrong with it. But if you're not, you might be stuck. So
So with that, what has been, and this is kind of a side question, but I know coaches are interested in it. Like what has been most successful for you in growing your coaching business?
oh my gosh.
Is it
So
gaining
I
the
would say
clarity that we talked about originally, or is it something else?
so it's the work I did for myself. It is 100% all of the energy
Hmm.
work I did for myself because I did all the therapy stuff and I worked with a business coach and I had clarity and all of that, but it was the deeper resistance to calling in wealth and abundance for various reasons. Like I was
Hmm.
really used to be really afraid of success. Oh, if I get at the top, everybody's going to see me. And then are they going to make fun of me? Because like I've been made fun of for everything, just appearance wise, like my teeth, my eyebrows, I have a mark on my hand. So I was really afraid of that exposure and of somebody challenging me. And it was like all these layers of my childhood experiences. So I was very creative as a child. I loved to write. I thought I'd be the next Nancy Drew. Um, and so it got shut down. My creativity got shut down. And I love my mom. She's amazing, but she was an English major. And she's like, you can't write like that. And you can't talk like that. And I was like, but why? Like,
Why? I want to.
and guess what? We write like that on social media every single day. And I bring it
Yep.
up to like, see, told you. Anyway,
Yeah.
and I love her. I love her. But, and it was those experiences, it was the need to have to be hyper independent early on in life. I think a lot of people my age really grew to just do things for themselves because it was just expected. Like we didn't have like supervision ever.
Yeah.
So it's like unlearning those patterns of, hey, I can ask for support. One of the things that I notice even with my clients is that when we are so independent, and most entrepreneurs are, we have this level of trust that only goes to a certain degree. And then we feel like we have to do and be and go and beyond when it should be a reciprocal flow of just continual balance where yes, you effort and you do the things, and you also trust in the divine to take care of things. And again, it just comes from that inner alignment. But I would say the most beneficial thing has been the work that I've done, both for myself and with my practitioner, because when you start, once you work through all that you're going through in this embodiment, there's all kinds of other things that we can work on. But truly coming to understand who you are is one of the most valuable things. And it's not just knowing yourself, it's valuing who you are.
Hmm.
Because there's a huge difference. You start to honor who you are by, like, again, working with the clients that align. You start honoring who you are as far as your schedule and how many clients you want to take on, and even valuing and honoring your time and what are you
Yeah.
committing to each week. So I would say that would hands down be the best work I've done because, and it's the continual work that I do. I'm not ever done with that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think there's so much that, like, especially for people starting a coaching business, they think about the questions over here. How much should I charge? What work should I do? How much time should I spend? Whereas the better questions are on the other side of things, from within, right? Like what value am I bringing? What am I helping people with? What do I want to charge? I've talked to ghostwriters about that before who are like, I have no idea how to start charging a book. And I'm like, actually, a great first question is how much do you feel comfortable and how much do you want to charge? Like, you need to look at that stuff first and then look at other competition, see what other people are doing. You can compare and contrast there. That's fine. And then use that to come to the best pricing, the best model, the best system for you. But don't just start here. And I think some people start on this side of like they want to look at how everyone else does things. They want to have type into ChatGPT, how much should I charge? I've done that before just to get a sense of certain things, not like for what I'm doing in book coaching and ghostwriting, but with other like specific things. Like I don't know what people are charging for this. I already know some of the other things, but starting with the value and what you bring to the table first. And if you don't know that, then it's going to be very hard to come to a decision on that. So I'll just wanted to add
Yeah.
that as part of it. It's really important for coaches to think about that.
Well, yeah, and you're hitting on something it's the value piece. So, and again, you can't sell what you don't feel
Yeah.
aligned to,
Hmm.
and cannot, people can feel it, they can tell. And there's, again, it's a difference in having confidence and knowing what you do, and that grows with you. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you don't stumble. Like I'm finally to a point where I'm not as intimidated by certain demographics like I used to be. Like
Hmm.
that makes like all this money over here. I'm just like, who am I to talk to? But now I don't worry about that kind of stuff. But it took me time, and I had to, again, unlearn certain patternings, and don't be afraid to evolve within that. I'm going to say that over and over again because where you start is not where you're going to end. We all know that, but it's really hard to see. And like, because I remember not even that long ago, somebody's like, you don't charge enough. And I was like, I'm actually really secure in my pricing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need this six figure whatever contract because that's what I want. I was like, I'm really great at where I'm at. I think it's priced very reasonable. And it was funny because then I had another client who is also in coaching say, "Oh, well, I think you're very right where you need to be." She's
Yeah.
like, "I think you do incredible work." She's like, "I think you could definitely charge a little bit more, but I think your heart and service really speak to where you're at." And, what I know to be true is that you'll always get wealth and abundance in different ways. And so when you start thinking about it, like, it was the craziest thing. So I offered a discount to a client who's coming to treat. And the next day, I got the exact same discount on a course I signed up for.
Yeah, I mean, amazing.
Like, I can't
That
even.
stuff happens. It's not just coincidence. It happens.
Yeah. And it's like, but when you trust in yourself and you believe that money is this exchange that comes in and it goes out and it's always cycling, you quit worrying so much about it and you start recognizing when it's coming in these really random ways. So anyways, I won't go down the money thing, but
Yeah, and I think just in general, it's such an important, even just, we don't have to dive into this either, but thinking about taking feedback from your friend or the other person in that case, if you didn't have a sense of what your value was and what you wanted to charge, it's tougher to hear that. You could hear that and say, oh yeah, I guess I should just charge double. But then if that may not end up aligning with you and your business model, but you have to know those things first and have clarity and not just like think you know them, but have real clarity on those subjects. Because then when someone comes in and gives you feedback, it's great that you were able to take that and say, okay, I hear that, and no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or you hear someone, you understand all your value, and then someone says that, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, that actually sparks something. I should be charging a little bit more. Or it could lead you to do some more investigation of what other people are charging and how all that stuff works. But it's very difficult to navigate that if you don't know yourself first. 100%.
Well, and that's the thing is like, because I do intuitive work, I recognize that I'm listening to my divine channel. And the things that I'm going to bring in other forms of wealth in are public speaking and these different workshops and trainings that I'm doing, and even retreat that's coming up. So, like, I just know that one-on-one clients are the only way I'm going to bring in money. And that's the other part of the business is like, once you get to that place where it makes sense, I'm going to say that because I thought, oh, I need to build the course. I need to do the coaching. I need to do the retreat all in year one. Wrong.
Yeah, wrong. Yeah.
Take clients first, work with them, and then progress into these other things. But, it's like, so I knew that I was very confident in where I'm at because, again, it's like, I just really love doing the work. And I'm not like, there's no scarcity whatsoever within me. Like, I'm not inexpensive, but anyways. My whole point is that once you feel really secure and you're listening into the energy of your business, what does it want? Does it need to grow? Do you need to charge more? And when do you need to charge more? Because you will progress and charge more. You will.
Yeah.
And just remembering that it's a recalibration always.
No, I love that. And I think it's a full circle back from what we were talking about at the beginning. So I think it's a great place to end. But I do want to ask like where people can find you, where can people connect with you? I mean, I'll put the links in the show notes. So people can click on those and find you that way, but just share it with us on the podcast as well.
Yeah, so I am on LinkedIn primarily and also Instagram. So Candice Van Dertholen and then Candice_Elizabeth.co on Instagram. But then I'm also a practitioner on heal.me. And so I'll make sure that you get all of those links and everything. Heal.me is a great platform for like holistic practitioners. If you have anybody that's on here, it's everything from your therapist to your Chinese medicine. So everything in between. And what they do is they help you kind of combine everything all in one, which makes it super awesome. And I don't get anything for saying this, just so like, really like the platform. So anyways, I digress. And people can always reach out to me via email. It's thewarriorwithinhealing@gmail.com.
Awesome. And how do people start in that way? Is it just through email or can they chat with you if they want to work with you? Because I say this because I think people that are struggling in what we talked about today should definitely reach out to you because there are definite ways to bridge that gap. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to figure it out all alone. Coaches need coaches, and that's true. So yeah, how do people start in that way?
Yeah. So send me an email and get connected with me. I don't have it listed that I offer a discovery call, but I do offer that. If somebody wants to some time with me, I'm happy to hop on a call or a Zoom or whatever, because I do know that this work requires that, making sure it's in alignment. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Candice, thank you so much for being here today. This discussion was awesome. I'm super excited to get the feedback on this episode. But yeah, thank you for your time. Super appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Are you still here listening to this podcast? You're awesome. I got 2 CTAs for you. Number 1, subscribe to this podcast for more. And number 2, have you ever thought about writing a book? Contact Jordan. He can help you out. Jordan@jamring.com.